Hey guys, it's YOU WACK, and yesterday we got our first real update that we've gotten ever since the winter break in 2022 that involved nerfing Roadhog tremendously. In fact, they even gave him a new skin after this update, and I got a picture of it right now on the screen. Yeah, Roadhog's completely cooked for the rest of the season too, but luckily, it's not the end of Roadhog as we know it. You hear that, Roadhog bangs? You're not completely finished. Maybe. We're just gonna have to see, because it was already confirmed by the Overwatch team developers that not only Roadhog, but other heroes are going to be receiving more changes in Season 3 and Season 4, but also possibly getting their hero kits reworked. That also includes Roadhog. In today's video, I did want to talk about all the heroes that were talked about in yesterday's stream with Flats and emongg in regards of heroes that need to be addressed. While Roadhog wasn't a focal point in that stream, we already did know that this update wasn't going to be the only update that we saw. But it definitely is confusing to see Roadhog not only getting nerfed to the ground in the latest update, but the developers also talking about reworking Roadhog in the up-and-coming seasons, whether it's Season 3 or Season 4. But it turns out that this nerf to Roadhog was actually supposed to come at the beginning of Season 2, but it didn't because of a bug. So that's why it came so late in the season, and why it's already cutting it so close to potential rework for Roadhog in the near future. But in regards of the future rework for Roadhog, which they worded as slight rework.
When we talk about what a slight rework means, that means we'll be adding some utility to Hog's kit, and that will be down the line. It's going to take some time. This is not what that slight rework is.
Luckily, this isn't going to be the end for Roadhog, but I don't really see how they could rework Roadhog because his hero kit is so simple. You have a hook, you have a gun, and that's it. Unless they got rid of his most iconic feature, which is his hook, which I highly doubt. I don't really know how they could rework his hero kit other than maybe doing something with his heal ability. And I've been saying this for years. Make him one of the first support tanks in the game. Make it so that whenever he heals himself, the heal juice from his canister spills out onto the ground and has an area of heal for your team. I think that would be a really unique idea that hasn't really been done in the game for anybody, and plus it could add a supportive element to Roadhog. Obviously they would need to nerf how much heals he gives himself, but I think that would be a very unique rework that could make Roadhog actually significant in the meta. But along with Roadhog, he's not going to be the only hero that's going to get reworked in Season 3 and Season 4, because this next hero has been notorious for being one of the worst DPS heroes and is already getting the Symmetra rework treatment. And no, it's not Symmetra, it's Sombra. Sombra was one of, if not the best DPS hero to play at the beginning of Season 1, but after one single nerf, she vanished, never to be heard from again. But it's just so surprising to see that after just one teensy-wincy patch note that she becomes statistically the worst DPS hero in Overwatch. Again, it's not just based on my own biasness saying that. Statistically, win rates, pick rates, limps, just everything about Sombra is so low. And what makes it even more baffling was that going into Overwatch 2, Sombra, along with Bastion, was already heavily getting reworked. While they kept the same foundation with Sombra, they completely changed the way that she was going invisible and hacking and being able to see through walls, just giving her new life to her hero kit. And it seemed to work out fairly well for about 6 weeks. And now she's just riding the bench of DPS heroes. And the developers recognize that, and that's why they did confirm that Sombra is going to be getting reworked come Season 4, not even Season 3, which is devastating here. At least the developers are taking basically a third look at Sombra in an effort to try to make her better. It's just kind of weird because, like, what could they do at this point? And something that I thought of that they really want to go down the route of reworking rather than just nerfing and buffing is take another look at her translocator, because my biggest issue when playing Sombra is that I'm out of the fight half the time because I'm teleporting out with my translocator. Now, obviously, I'm using it incorrectly. I'm not claiming to be a Sombra player, but again, me, along with so many people in the Overwatch community, also play Sombra like that, translocating out of the fight and not doing damage, which is what a traditional DPS hero is supposed to do, is by doing damage. And when you're constantly going back and forth out of the fight, constantly being invisible, well, that's what makes Sombra so unappealing to a team composition. While yes, the hack and the EMP is super powerful, you can't be doing that if you're constantly translocating back and forth. So maybe if they were to maybe even get rid of it and make it more appealing to the general audience rather than just Sombra players who clearly know how to use the translocator properly, I think could maybe make her a little bit more powerful. But I don't know, man. Sombra's just in a weird spot. But you want to know another hero that literally nobody's talking about, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing? Brigitte. This is another hero that's been confirmed by the developers that is going to be getting a rework specifically to her ultimate come Season 4. You thought I was going to say Season 3. No, No.
So we are getting closer. Unfortunately, it's not going to be season 3. It takes a lot of VFX work and a lot of art. It's looking good for season 4 right now.
We're gonna have another season without Brigitte. I just want to ask you guys, when was the last time you had a Brigitte on your team? And Brigitte means you're not allowed to participate in this group activity. I can count literally on one hand how many times I've had a Brigitte on my team, and I can use that same hand to count how many times that Brigitte worked out. That number, 0. But again, Brigitte has been confirmed that she will be getting a full rework come season 4, but the reason why it's taking so long, along with a lot of these heroes, I'm sure, is due to VFX and the artwork to some of these reworks. And for Brigitte in particular, yeah, that would kind of make sense if you're possibly giving her just a brand new ultimate, because not only do you have to think of the rework, but you also have to build the rework, balance the rework, draw the rework, animate the rework, color the rework, possibly give her new voice lines and stuff like that. So yeah, it does kind of suck. Well, actually, I don't know if it does suck, because I don't even like going against Brigitte, but in terms of a rework to her ultimate, which is kind of surprised me, because I thought they would have done something more to just her base hero kit, because at least for me, the reason why I don't like playing Brigitte is that it's just not enough heals, which makes sense. She's not a primary healer, but compared to some of these other secondary heroes like Lucio and Zenyatta and heroes like that, it's a lot more available to heal your team, whereas Brigitte, you're limited with your armor packs, and you're limited if the enemy team is there to actually do damage. But along with those reworks that I already mentioned before, we also are going to be seeing some buffs to some tank heroes come season 3, specifically with Wrecking Ball and Reinhardt. Which in regards of the Reinhardt buff, I'm kind of surprised to hear, because I didn't think he was the worst tank in the game compared to someone like Wrecking Ball, who my biggest problem with is that he completely leaves your backline exposed while he's off doing his own thing, feeding the enemy team and not necessarily even securing kills. Now, originally I thought they could maybe buff Hammond's damage because, well, if you're gonna go all in with not protecting your team, why not just buff the damage? But in yesterday's live stream, they actually said that they don't want to try to buff Hammond's damage, but rather just try to buff his sustainability and try to recoup some of the shield that he gives himself.
If you buff the damage, that can be pretty bad. So we've tried some stuff with his his sustainability as himself. Looking at, hey, how do shields affect Wrecking Ball? Can we do anything there where some of that health is going to be regained over time?
Which that'll be definitely interesting to see, and probably a lot more balanced than what I thought could have happened, because again, like, it's even in the name, you're a Wrecking Ball, you should go and cause damage. But again, that's why I'm not a developer or on the balance team or even a Hammond main, because I wouldn't know what to do with him, and I just want people to do destruction if that's what you're good at, if you're not going to protect him. But the other significant heroes that were talked about in that live stream yesterday were Mercy and Genji, and you want to know what they said in regards to those two heroes? They weren't getting a nerf, they weren't getting a buff, and they weren't getting a rework either. You want to know what they're going to be getting? Nothing.
Nothing planned at the moment.
They're not going to be getting anything, or at least nothing that the developers are willing to talk about when it comes to Season 3 and Season 4. And if they're not talking about those two heroes, when they've already talked about a bunch of heroes that were going to be getting changed come Season 3 and Season 4, I think we can bet on bottom dollar that they're not going to be getting a buff or nerf or a rework anytime soon. Which I think in that situation, everybody loses. The people that hate Mercy lose because they hear that no changes are coming to Mercy. And I think even Mercy mains lose because I think there's some Mercy mains that think that she should be buffed rather than nerfed. And the Genji mains, I mean, come on now. You should already know that if you exist, you're gonna be getting nerfed. So this sounds good for you that your hero isn't getting nerfed. Yay! But those are all the heroes of significance that were talked about in that live stream with Flats and emongg. Let me know what you guys think about some of these heroes that will be changing in Season 3 and Season 4, or what heroes aren't gonna be getting changed that you think should be changed, like maybe Cassidy or Symmetra or a hero like that. Let me know in the comments. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.